Hello everyone, it's me, Galen. This is going to be a little different from what I normally do. Normally I just stream on Twitch, but in this case I want to actually start making videos outside of Twitch, just to keep myself busy. So, as you can see, I am playing Final Fantasy XIV, but I have a certain rule set that I am playing under, because I've got a document here with all the rules that I've got set up for myself. Everything you end up using is what you make or gather yourself, with a few exceptions. The first actual rule is you cannot buy or sell anything using the market board. I will never touch the market board on this character. Rule 2, you cannot trade with other players. You can't get anything from other players. Rule 3, you cannot wear or wield anything that doesn't fit at least one of the following criteria. Something you made yourself. If you're wondering whether or not you've made something, you just look at the bottom of the item, and it'll say, like, your name, in this case, Galen Self-Sufficient. Something you started the account with. Basically, in the case of this new account, any of the Elizenware, the weathered jewelry, all of that is allowed. If you would have an experience boosting piece of equipment, can't wear that, unless it somehow applies to ARC. But I don't think Square Enix will ever make something that you can craft that will give you experience bonuses, aside from food. A purple piece of equipment, as in like relic weapons or crafter's tools with purple. Point D, a weathered piece of equipment. This is a failsafe just so you can play any class. If it's required to progress the main scenario or any other quest, you can wear it. Rule 4, you cannot purchase materials or materiel from any vendor unless it is the only way of procuring it. You're starting in Limsa Lominsa. This is the huge exception that I've got here, because otherwise starting as an Arcanist or as a Marauder is outright impossible. You can only buy 6 pieces of copper ore, 3 pieces of tin ore, and 1 circle of leather. You will never be able to get the ores necessary for a head item that you could make through armor smithing. I'll go into more of that later. And these amounts will actually be exactly enough to make a bronze chain coif to be usable by Marauders. The Arcanists are out of luck until they do the level 10 class quest, when they can go out and switch to Marauder. 5. When forced to take quest rewards that are usable, you have to sell that many back to a vendor. You cannot use usable items unless they are made by you. When forced to take equipment as a quest reward, you must choose to either sell it or desynthesize it, but this choice must be made when the item is received. If you choose to desynthesize but cannot desynthesize it for whatever reason, you have to sell it instead. In dungeons or raids, you may roll green on items only if you have the capacity to synthesize them, but you cannot roll need on them. Equipment given to you through dungeon completion must either be desynthesized or sold as soon as possible. Equipment rolled on may only be desynthesized. You cannot wear dungeon items. I was tempted to say you cannot wear green items, but then I remembered that end of X-Pack equipment is green. That would actually make it outright impossible to go into some dungeons. Rule 8, you may run dungeons more than once. I was torn about this. It was a toss-up between being able to use dungeon equipment, but only running each dungeon once, and running dungeons as many times as necessary. So I went with the latter, because it follows the idea more closely. Rule 9, you may hire retainers. You can make them any disciple of war or magic, or make them a disciple of the land. I was tempted to disallow them, but one of my friends online helpfully reminded me that gathering retainers can only gather resources you've already found on the gathering log, and it takes a while anyways. You can also only equip them as denoted by Rule 3. Rule 10, for fishing bait, if there isn't a crafting recipe or method of gathering that bait, and there isn't a more readily available bait available, you may purchase it from vendors. So with that out of the way, let's get back to getting this self-sufficient started. This first cutscene showing you the mother crystal and showing you where you started, say goodbye to it. I'm not watching it. Okay, so when I can't skip cutscenes, I have to watch them. Explained to anyone with eyes, you don't know your way around here. Except I do, because I play this game a lot. Okay, so now it'll shunt me into the rest of Ul'dah. With all of the funny Belmung Ul'dah people, with their funny lack of speaking. If any of you have actually played on Belmung, I am so sorry. Oh hey, a cutscene explaining Aetheryte. I will proceed to not really care about that. Any cutscenes that would happen here, if I can't outright skip them, I'll just try to get through them as fast as possible. Because I'm not here for that. Now let's go talk to Kokobigo. And by that I mean go through another unskippable cutscene. Am I prepared to leap into the abyss? Sure, why not? Where are you? Oh, apparently that's an event peddler. But I am currently in the business of not caring. The starting episodes of this are going to be pretty slow, just because there is a huge hurdle very quick with this challenge that I will get into once we hit it. Expect to see a lot of mining and a lot of goldsmithing. Believe it or not, Ul'dah is difficult to navigate. I prefer to have big maps to look around at. But yeah, there's the Goldsmiths Guild there. We'll go there in a bit. And by a bit, I mean we have to be level 10 first. There's the Miners Guild here. We'll also hit that up. For now, the main things I'm going to do are just run from place to place, pick up the Ethernet shards, do the main scenario quest until I can't. And then we'll move from there. If you're playing on like a Road to 70 server, if your account is labeled as Road to 70, you won't have this problem. So for now, I'm just going to run around picking up side quests and doing them real quick. Little Lullafell. You want shrew pelts. Well, I'll be sure to help you with that. Gelther, you seem like a person who is a person. You want me to threaten Didi Lada, huh? Hey, Josias. Let's give you this envelope. Using items. Unfortunately, I cannot use these potions. Their smug aura mocks me. Crystals? I can't use those. Those aren't something that is okay in the rules. It's fine. It really is. There's no limit to the crystals because it is so difficult to keep track of. We are helping the strong prey upon the weak because they aren't being given what they're due. They tried to give us a fake ring. In the name of science. You want marmot blood? I'll get you marmot blood, sure. This person's upset with their marriage. But, as it turns out, both are kind of not too great. Vulcan. Okay. So these level 1 quests aren't going to give us very much in terms of actual experience, which is fine. Now I know it's not the most exciting thing to just run around doing side quests like this, but I mean, we need to get to level 10 because we need to make a hat, and there is only one hat that can be made. There's only one head item in our rule set that's available just in Ul'dah. Originally, when I was trying to go through this, like, my first time, it I originally thought that, oh, in order to make a hat item, I may need to go to the leatherworking guild. And as it turns out, no. I then thought, oh, we're gonna need botany in order to make stuff with Weaver, and that was also wrong, because we needed the secondary tool for botany, which you don't start out with, and isn't technically weathered once you get your first, so we couldn't use it. The answer, as I eventually found out, was in jewel crafting, goldsmithing, whatever you want to call it. That's where it is. The only thing we need in order to make that happen is mining. So this, it is possible to get from, oh god, Genevieve. It is possible to get to Gridania, one of the starting city-states. Oh, good for you, Genevieve. Shut up. Well, basically you can go between Gridania and Ul'dah if you're brave enough. But it is not possible to get from Limsa to anywhere else. Because La Noscea is on a completely different continent. So that's where that exception to the rule is. That exception is there because you can purchase low-level ingredients for armorsmithing in the armorsmithing guild. But there's other ways to get materials in everywhere except Limsa. Like, if it were impossible to get a hat there, I would have the exception instead that, oh, you can buy exactly the ingredients you need at any, but only for the level 5 hat. It is technically possible to get the hat that you need with just jewel crafting and mining. But then therein lies the issue. There is exactly one answer. If that one didn't exist, it would be more along the lines of, oh hey, you can buy exactly what you need in order to try and make the level 1 hat that you need. And it's amusing that it's only that point that is a point of contention. So for Limsa, the rule is you can just buy exactly the ingredients you need. No more, no less. Okay, who's Landibert? Where's Landibert? Why is Landibert? But yeah, the first steps here are going to just be trying to get a hat. And yes, I am trying to hit as many side quests as I can. Some of them aren't particularly worth it. That one with Genevieve was not. It did give us a little bit of gil, but I mean, for the most part, all we'll ever be spending gil on are like teleports, chocobo rides, that sort of thing. Okay, and now with all of those done, and I think we've actually got all of Steps of Nald as well. I can quickly check here. But more importantly, we can actually get into combat. 45 minutes in. Nothing quite like the grind to get ready to get to grinding. So Thaumaturge is probably one of my favorite classes, just because it deals a ton of damage. He actually got... And this won't be so bad. For the most part, we just knock out these things nice and quickly. And we just go from there. this should be the last snapping shrew. So now we've got that side quest done. Technically, we've also got the Wave of the Thaumaturge done, but I'll turn that in a little later. Let's just swap these every so often just to keep it up. As Thaumaturge, expect to use Transpose a lot, because you're at your most powerful while you have Astral Fire or Umbral Ice up. Currently it's only got 1 level, but it'll be 2 at some point, and then 3. And then you get your damage. Like, boy howdy, do you get a lot of damage for playing Thaumaturge. Okay, so I want to be here just to attune. So now we've got this, we've got Teleport ready. Right? It's also Chocobo Keep. Am I able to use Chocobos yet? No, you have to be level 10 first. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. I'll just run back. I don't want to spend what little gil I've got teleporting to and fro. There's other stuff to take out here, but really I'd rather just get the quest done. I also have to go to Western Thanalan, so maybe it would be wiser for me to go through there. And then maybe also hit the Aetheryte in Horizon, because I'm going to have to go over that way anyways. You know what? We got time. We got time. Now, because we're under-leveled for this, technically, we won't be getting as much out of this as possible. But we're also killing things higher level than us. We get this lovely little thing called a chain bonus. We're on a chain right now. If we keep killing things that are at our level or above, we get more and more experience. So normally as like Thaumaturge, you don't have to do a ton of dodging like in the overworld, but it's still a good idea to get into practice for it. Because I am like up to date on like Shadowbringers content. And if you've ever seen some of the mechanics they want you to do, it is in your best interest to get dodging and get dodging quickly. Because if you don't, you can very likely die very quickly. Alright, that was definitely worth our time, because now we're level 5. And that means once we're done with the side quests here, we can actually do the next class quest. And we're technically halfway to unlocking our first hand and land ability. Hand and land abilities? Hand and land jobs, classes, whatever you want to call them. I suppose I haven't actually killed the ladybugs yet. I'll probably turn in these side quests here, and then for your first class, you won't unlock your hunting log until you beat this first class quest. And I forget if the ladybugs are actually part of that, but in such a case, we can knock out 2 birds with 1 stone there. Let's just go ahead and attune. Oh boy, nothing quite like seeing bots. If you've got some... If you ever see someone with like a nonsense name like this, 9 times out of 10 they're a bot. I've actually forgotten there's a single ring that you still start with. For the sake of this challenge, you are allowed to use it. Like, some might argue that, no, you didn't start equipped with it. It doesn't count. It counts. Yeah, I've got your marmot blood. Now, here, I can't use either of these, even though this would automatically complete our need for a level 5 hat, because we don't. It doesn't have our name on it. That's like the gist of this, is it doesn't have our name on it, therefore it's not valid. Same with the raisins here and the square maple shield. No, it doesn't have our name on it, so we can't use it. Looks like we got a couple more quests we can take over there, which is fine. Let's press H to open up the hunting log. Okay. So we got hornets, snapping shrews, little ladybugs, and cactuars as the immediate things we can go after. First, let's hang by Momodi to get the next MSQ. Kekazani. There's Mimishu over by the entrance to Western Thanalan. So what I can do now is I can take the Ethernet over to Western Thanalan. And you know what? This'll be where I leave off for this time. It's been well over an hour, and honestly, I'll probably make a second video right after this. I don't know how often I'm gonna bring these out, but you know, just have a look out for more of this. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good rest of your night, morning, day, whatever time it happens to be for you. And, yeah, have a good one.